Hi, I'm Ron.
Hey, this is Steve.
Oh, and we can't forget about Marcel.
Oh, hey.
I officially hate technology. I am done with technology. Steve, you can take your floomin' Colonel back. Colonel Murphy has stayed here too long. Otherwise, good morning, everyone. Oh, hang on a second. What's going on? Oh, crap. I've done something. Oh, no. That's good morning, everyone. Let's try that again. Jesus Christ. Oh, hang on a second. What's going on? Oh, crap. Oh, okay. I quit. See you later. Oh.
Is it fixed now?
Yes, it's fixed. Oh my god. The old intro echoes this.
Let's try that again. What's going on? What's that in the background?
Well, it's not me. I can tell you that right now.
Let's make sure I've got no volume on this. Oh my god. The old intro. Is it replaying again?
I don't know.
I can hear it. I can hear something that I've already
I am double checking everything I've got, and I do not have any other.
What is going on?
Oh god.
See, it's my antics that's put you off now. I'm not doing any more
Hey,
antics.
everybody.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, hi everyone. You can all get it out. Just poke fun at me. Get your jokes out of the way, and then we'll start the show. Jesus.
Shannon's a bit challenged this morning.
That's right. I'm going to stick my ears in. Hang on a sec.
It was those alligator pictures.
Hang on, wait. I'll get the rope and I'll get my noose ready. Oh. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trackside Live with your Back on Track team. Again, we've got Ali, Steve, and Claude joining us this morning, as well as myself.
Good
Tech
morning.
Guru, as such, who is technologically, I don't even know the word I wanted anymore. That's the word I wanted. Oh, God.
What are we talking about today, Shannon?
Technology.
Today, things that make us uncomfortable in our hobby, and I can tell you right now, this is one of them. It's very fitting. Oh, God.
That was a really good lead into the subject.
Oh.
That's what I was hoping for.
Like you could not plan that any better. You could try and plan it and recreate it, and it just won't happen. Oh, God.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway, someone else take the wheel for a minute because I need to regroup my thoughts. Jesus Christ.
What we decide what makes you uncomfortable in model railroading, or what doesn't? What's more comfortable? For me, it's my chair. That's the most comfortable thing.
Yeah. Oh.
Steve looks like
You're going the other way, huh? The most uncomfortable. I used to think it was scenery until I started doing it.
Oh man, you're an expert.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this before the show, and I have found even in my job that stuff I thought I was apprehensive, or stuff I was apprehensive about doing, that made me uncomfortable to even start. There again, part of it's just getting started. Get as much information as you can about whatever it is you're doing, and then just start and trust it. And if it doesn't work, start over. That's what made me most uncomfortable with it. Track work and electronics and stuff like that, I figured I could always figure that out, but the scenery part's what made me uncomfortable. But I've done enough of it now that it's not any harder than anything else. So the most uncomfortable thing for me now is standing for too many hours at the layout.
Yeah.
And that's physically uncomfortable.
How about you, Ali? Before we come back around to me.
Well, Shannon would definitely know what makes me most uncomfortable. It's some of the stuff he shares with me before the show. No, actually, for me, in all seriousness, it's painting. Painting scares the heck out of me. That's why you'll see a lot of my projects are basically completed without any paint on them whatsoever. Because I know what I'm doing wrong. I still manage to do it. I get impatient and it just becomes a sticky mess sometimes. And then having to wipe it all off and start again, and, it's frustrating for me. So
I'd have to say mine is track work.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve?
Well, I was going to say, I think mine right now is track work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I think I worked out what it was. It might be my microphone picking up the TV, so I just turned the volume down a bit. Because I was starting to hear it a little bit when Ali was talking. But I'm done with the technology, so there. Anyway.
Yeah, it's probably Shannon this morning.
Good morning to everybody in chat.
Yeah. Because I usually have my other camera set up, and that's usually my microphone, which is, a bit further away from the TV, so it doesn't pick up any feedback. But I think I've got it sorted now. Anyway, so as we're talking about this morning, it's basically what makes you uncomfortable. Some things that make me uncomfortable is, it's the simple things, like doing the detail work and things, trying to think of, where I want things, how I want things to work and function. And trying new things that makes me uncomfortable. Because every time I do something new, and the guys will know from last week, I was trying something new when I was doing it DCC installs, and pop, there goes a couple of $100 in decoders, and thankfully I managed to repair one. But oh god,
John says operations. John.
Oh yeah, well, especially when they don't use anesthetics.
See, there you go again.
John needs to elaborate on that, though.
Yeah.
Tell us what about operations don't you like, John?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in saying that, that's the point of today's episode. So it's the things that make us uncomfortable. So, us four here, we always bounce ideas off each other, and we always seem to get each other out of our uncomfortable areas of skill. And we ask each other a lot of questions because, unfortunately we don't have half of you, at the top of a phone like, hey, hello.
Shannon, we're still getting an echo.
Are we? Okay. Let me change.
Yeah. Yeah, Roy's saying feedback.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Well, I'm
not
hearing
getting
something.
Apply.
I'm getting one.
Later. Okay, someone talk. Someone say something.
Hello, testing.
Okay, go on.
I don't know.
Let me move my microphone closer, because this is now my microphone. There we go. Is that better now, guys?
Testing. Hello.
Okay, back to chat.
Back to chat. Steve 87 says, me and Steve both have echoes. I don't have anything else on, so I don't know what it'd be.
I don't have anything on. Just all my volume on my iPad's down.
Yep. Okay, as I said, I'll give up on technology right now. I'll give up. Everyone except Shannon sounds like they're talking in a tunnel.
Yeah.
If I'm mute, does it take it away?
No, you sound fine. It's Shannon the one that sounds in the tunnel.
Yeah, I sound like a tunnel because my microphone's there. It used to be there. Now my microphone's there, and I've got all this crap tangled around everywhere.
Nora says she thinks it's me.
How's that? Do I still have an echo?
No.
I can hear your trains running, Steve. That's the only thing I can hear on your end.
I'll shut them off.
Well, you got one running back there.
Not anymore.
Oh, you did shut it off, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this show has gone off to a great start. We picked a great topic of the things that make us uncomfortable, and this is getting to the edge. I'm already on a short fuse, and woof. Just go to your happy place. Your happy place.
We're getting conflicting reports on who's echoing.
Well, now Roy's saying that I'm good and Shannon's good.
But then Sparky said 3 of you echo, Shannon doesn't. So
yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say it's Shannon's fault that anybody's echoing. So.
Well, and Steve 87, Shannon is fine. Steve, Claude in the tunnel. Ally's quiet.
Well, now this room I'm in echoes a little bit, so that could be part of it.
Say hi.
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 No, Kentucky Man said say hi, so I'm saying hi.
Hi.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to need more coffee for this show.
Yeah.
I heard the first syllable of that word, and I'm like, this is a PG rated show. PG rated. Okay, let's move on. Let's go with the show. Let's get back on track.
Where's Nightbot?
Where's what?
I can't see Nightbot in there.
No Nightbot? Well, that's good. I don't like Nightbot. It scares me.
No, Nightbot will be in there as soon as we hit 15
Steve's
minutes.
uncomfortable with Nightbot.
Nightbot's creepy. I don't like Nightbot.
I just like Nightbot because it reminds everybody of merchandise. Don't forget, we got merchandise up on Teesprings. Link down in the description below. Also, don't forget the traveling boxcar. Like, subscribe, and the bell icon. Ding!
And we have an account for the key rings too. So just send us $5 and you get a key ring.
Okay, so apparently I can't use my headphones because I'm connected to my TV.
Excuses.
Yeah.
PSAP says, Ally is fine, just Steve and Claude. Must be USA connection.
Well, now you're echoing, Ally.
Me? Oh, I can hear my echo now.
I'm not hearing any of it, bro.
No, I hear echo with Ally now.
I hear it.
Okay.
Shannon, what are you doing this morning?
What am I doing this morning? I can show you what I'm doing this
with
morning.
All the echoes.
I can show you
No,
what
with
I'm doing
the
this morning.
echoes.
Just so everyone is clear, this is my setup right now. I am currently in the lounge room.
That looks very complicated.
There's my layout. Front door's that way. Dining room.
Okay.
There is not much else I can do right now.
Whatever.
Am I echoing still? Yes. I can hear it.
And see, Marty's saying it's good. Sparky says it's good. John, Grandpa Rail says all good.
Okay.
If we got it all good, then we're good.
We're good. Let's just go with it.
Yep. Yeah, we spent too much time.
Yeah, we spent half the show.
Yes, moving on.
Okay, I'm gonna put up the link. I'm gonna put up the link for the keychains. Anybody wants a keychain? This link, you can send the money here. And
yeah, once you send that link, I'll give it to Nightbot to put on there.
Yeah.
And also, and in the email, state whether you want aluminum or steel.
Excuse me. Okay, now where were we?
We've lost 3 watches already.
What?
4 watches.
Well, okay.
Yeah, because we spent the last 10 minutes talking about echoes. But
Maybe
anyway,
they'll come back.
Anyway, so as I was saying before this echo debuggle, as us 4 here, we've become a quite tight group of friends. We've got other friends we bounce ideas off. But today, we're here for you guys. So, in the chat, let us know what makes you uncomfortable. We'll discuss it, see if there's any simple ideas to get you started on it to make you feel less uncomfortable about it. Things that we might do that we find that makes it easier. Or people in chat might jump in and be like, how about you try this? If you do it this way, it might work for you better.
Send us your problems.
Yeah, send us your problems. In saying that, Claude, they were saying the link you posted doesn't have the key chain links on there or something.
Doesn't have the.
You just
the keychain links. That's just that link is just where to send the money. All you got to do is click next or put your money in there in whatever denomination and click the next and it should go through.
And email us with your address so that we can ship them out to you.
Okay, I'll probably have to do a quick video on that, or if you can just run it by us, at the end of the show, so then everyone gets a good idea, because that confuses me a little bit as well.
Yeah,
you won't see the key. You won't see the key rings on there. That's just strictly where to send the money. So. Okay.
Yep. We're still working the ins and outs of that because Steve's meant to be in charge of keychains and Claude's in charge of banking. So.
Yay. That makes me uncomfortable, by the way.
How did you become the treasurer, Claude? Jesus.
I don't know.
Okay. So Grandpa Rail's trying to airbrush. Ooh.
Painting.
Yeah.
Like
painting.
So what troubles you, Grandpa Rails, with airbrushing? Like, is it the paint mixing? Is it the kind of airbrush setups you use? Is it the cleaning? Fred Wild, I'm pretty sure all river canners make us uncomfortable because they don't tell us where they found the information. Joe Raider, he hates wiring. Oh, come on. It's not that bad. I love wiring.
Easy ones.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
There's logic in that. It's easy to figure out.
A lot of hellos.
I don't like wiring.
No Humanity Junction. I'm not wearing news today. You're just seeing things.
Yeah, there again, most of the stuff that we're uncomfortable with is because we've never done it before. And you're not going to get any better at it or more comfortable with it until you try it. And if it's something that's expensive, like what was that?
Joelle says she hates fish.
Oh, okay.
Model railroading.
Yeah, if it's
Roy.
Like putting a decoder in, something like that. Just get as much information as you can. Or send it off to somebody you know that knows how to do it. and pay them to do it. But don't let it keep you from doing stuff on your layout. Practice on stuff that doesn't cost as much, like weathering rolling stock, for instance. The best thing you can do there is get the cheapest box cars and stuff you can find, whether it's at a garage sale or a train show or whatever. Practice on those.
Yeah.
That way, if you mess up, you didn't ruin anything. It didn't cost you a lot of money. It's not your $40 box car that you bought. It's a $2 or $3 box car.
Yeah.
The thing one thing that made me real uncomfortable with my mountain was after I got it plastered. That was the easy part for me. I'd done something like that before, but painting it and getting it the color I wanted was what was really scaring me. And I just started with what I thought would look good color-wise, and I adjusted from that. And a lot of the paint I put on that mountain, I blotted back off with paper towels to get it to look right. And it was just a matter of time and not very long before I realized this is what I'm after, the color I'm after, and this is the sequence I want to use to get that color on there. And it worked out really well. So that's my best advice to anybody that's uncomfortable with something about model railroading or anything else for that matter, is do it. Take the step, get off and do it, and don't worry about what it's going to look like. Sometimes you just have to start over, repaint it and start over, or blot the paint off and start over, or whatever you're working on, you may have to just start over or find another way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's getting started is the main thing. A lot of us procrastinate about doing that kind of thing. We shouldn't, because it's not that hard to do.
Marty says airbrush maintenance. What kind of airbrush do you have, Marty?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, because Grandpa Rails has never done airbrushing before. So first off, I'll say Grandpa Rails, first things first is, if you go to eBay, I know there's a place in China, they sell literally a small compressor with a small tank on it. I can't remember the size of the tank. But anyway, you buy it. It's like 80, I think it's like 60 US plus delivery. So it's fairly cheap. You put all your fittings on it. And then with the airbrush, get what's called a dual action airbrush. So dual action means basically is you can press down on the trigger to let the air out, but then you also got the control of how much paint comes out. And once you've got all that set up, just buy plain old black, just buy black paint, and actually buy black and white paint. A lot of people use enamels because they're a lot easier to thin out and mix. So try those. You can also try, what's it called? True color paints. They're pretty good, and you can use thinners on them as well. They're more of a, what's nail polish paint made out of? Acetone?
No, it's an enamel.
Yeah, I know it's an enamel, but it's a different type of enamel. It's got a specific name.
That I couldn't answer.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was talking to someone about it the other day, and can't remember now. But that's a lot better because it's similar to Tamiya base coat or undercoat, which I use, and it's really easy to mix and it dries really quickly as well. And just literally once you've done that, get that white plastic I can never remember the name of.
Styrene?
Styrene. Just get a sheet of styrene. One side that's got a texture, the other side's nice and smooth. Practice on that with those two colors. So just mix the black and the white to get grays, and just practice on that. Practice, using the airbrush. And even then, even if you do get, like, say, a cheap airbrush, one thing I recommend doing, which a lot of people, kind of look at me sideways when I say this, but polish your needles. So all airbrushes come with needles. That basically is how you control it. put them in the end of the drill, get some polishing compound, you know, the same compound used to cut and polish a car, and polish the ends. The reason you do that is when you polish the needles, when the paint runs through them, they are less likely to actually stick and dry to the needle, and it's much easier to clean. Which now comes down to Marty with airbrush maintenance. So Marty, if you've never polished your airbrush needles ever, I recommend giving your airbrush a good clean down and then polish them. Just polish the needles, clean the insides. You can go on eBay, you can buy airbrush cleaning kits that are specifically made to clean the insides of the airbrush where the needle sits, and all the other little passages as well. And if you need to, every once in a while, fully disassemble your airbrush, take out any rubber O-rings you can out of it, you know, and be very gentle about it, and then just let it sit in paint thinners overnight so it just eats away any paint that is stuck inside and out. And yeah, and just do that. And same thing again, you know, as I said, you polish the needles. If you can, try and polish the inside of the airbrush as well. You know, I know that's going to be extremely hard. It can be done in, if you think outside the box, but it can be very difficult. I have tried it, and I do find it difficult myself. And I've been airbrushing for the last 4 years. But yeah, basically, just do that. You know, do that, and I guarantee you, like, you look at my airbrushes and you look at them and you go, don't you look after them? And I go, kind of. You know, like literally, sometimes I forget to clean the airbrush out, go paint something, and I go, oh, bugger. So I just put some thinners in it, let it sit for 10 minutes, run the needle in and out just to kind of scrape the edges, you know, spray it, just thinners, just to clean everything out through the nozzle, pull the needle out, wipe that down, put it back together, and off I go.
Well, I was
Nice and
going
easy,
to
nice
say,
and
Shannon, one of the things I was apprehensive about doing airbrushing too at first. I bought a small compressor, doesn't have a tank. It's a direct compressor from Harbor Freight Tools. Here in the States, we have that around, I think, most areas. I also bought one of their single motion airbrushes. Very, very simple. It's got the reservoir underneath it, pulls up right in front of the nozzle, and the only thing you're controlling is the air with the trigger. You control your paint with the nozzle on that comes up in front of it. Real easy to use, very easy to clean. You don't have the internal cleaning you have to do like Shannon's talking about. Nothing there to polish. Those are also very cheap, and they've got a kit that's got, I don't know, half dozen bottles, got the air hose with it, and it's like $20. And then I think I paid 40 maybe for the compressor. I still use that same setup. I don't do a lot of airbrushing, but that's a nice, cheap way to get into it. And it's real easy to use if you just play around with how much paint's coming through and how much air you're applying at the same time. And there again, it's just practice. So, yeah, you know, that's one other way to go without going to the dual action. I think the dual action, in my opinion, is more for people that have kind of got the basics down and want to go a little finer with their detail and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's why I say you use the dual action, because with the dual action, you've got complete control of how much paint you want to use. So you can get different sized needles, which will give you a different spray pattern, from a narrow spray pattern to a wide spray pattern. I use an intermediate spray pattern, so in the middle. And, you know, because I've got that control, usually the way I mix my paints is a 50-50 mix. And, you know, if I want to make a bit of a dusting kind of effect, like, you know, it's got dirt, I'll thin out the paint a little more and I'll spray a little further so the paint dries through the air. So when it does hit whatever I'm painting, it's still tacky enough to actually stick to the object and actually look like it's got dirt just flowing across the side of it. In saying that, I just had a quick look on eBay for those who are interested. If I just share screen, application window, that one. There you go, for $255, 2 years warranty from memory. Comes with compressor with tank, airbrush cleaning tools, plumber's tape, airbrush line, and water separator with adjustable pressure gauge. So if you want to get into airbrushing and start, that's a dual action airbrush. You've got the cleaning tools there. It's got an instruction booklet, and I've got that same compressor. I got it with a 2-year warranty, and I've had it for the last 4 years. No issues. So,
Well, you can do what I do. Just give it to Shannon.
There you go.
yeah, do that. So hopefully that helps. Now I did see someone say, "How do you polish your needles?" As I said, you pull the needle out. If you want, tape the end of it with sticky tape so it fits into the chuck of a drill. Put the drill on high speed. Get a cloth with some cutter, like polish cutters they use to cut and polish your car. Put it on the end of the needle. Spin the drill up and just sit there for 5 minutes. You know, change directions and just move up and down. Don't poke yourself in the thumb like I've done a few times. They are very sharp. But yeah, that's the quickest and easiest way to polish the needles. And as I said, because you polish it to, you know, you can't see it, but because it is a polished surface, the paint doesn't want to stick to it because there's nothing on the surface for it to actually grab onto, like plastic or anything you put an undercoat on, like a primer.
That's a really good suggestion.
Hopefully that answers anyone who is uncomfortable with airbrushing.
But then again, it's getting started and practicing.
Yeah, and as I said, like I practice on styrene sheets, you know, because they cost a couple of bucks. You know, if I do screw it up, it's not something I'm going to look at and be like, oh, now I've got to actually learn how to paint so I can actually fix my screw up. You know, you just literally can go to it and go, okay, I'm getting better. Get a white can of spray paint, spray it white again, let it dry, and then start again.
Well, and the other thing you can do too, Shannon, if you don't want to put out the money for the compressor, you can buy compressed air in a can, like a hairspray size can. And they've got those too, and you don't have to be out as much money. And if you find out that you try that and you really don't like it, then you're not out as much money. The only problem with doing it out of a can is you tend to lose, as it loses pressure in the can, it'll change how the paint's working. So you're not as consistent with the paint,
Right.
But it does give you a feel for what you're doing without putting out a $50 or $60 minimum for a compressor to run your airbrush. But there you go.
Anyway, so who else has now? Someone said something about wiring early as well.
Yeah, somebody said something about DCC, not wiring, but CVs, programming CVs.
Program CVs. Depending how extent, this is my solution to everyone who asks this question. If you have a substantial, large collection of DCC locos, regardless the size of your layout, invest in. So if you got NCE, get the NCE USB interface. If you got Digitrax, you get the PR3, PR4. I think ESU is pretty much plugged straight into the computer. Basically, whatever brand DCC system you have, get the USB interface that allows that to connect to the computer. Download JMRI. It'll make things so much easier. You don't have to worry about remembering CVs, none of that. You know, you want to program the lights, you click on the light tab and it'll go, what do you want the lights to do? And you go, I want this, this, this. Write the software. It'll communicate to the layout, to your program track, communicate to the locomotive, program it, done. You don't have to think about CVs. You know, if you are one of those people that take your locos to a club and your loco's doing something funny that you don't want it to do, or something's not programmed the way you wished it was programmed, just literally have a notebook and write down, when I get home, I have to fix X. And then after you've done the night, you go home, you fix it at home, take it back, and try again. That's the easiest way I can explain to anyone who's getting into DCC and doesn't know anything about programming CVs, because you asked me to program CVs. I know a couple over the top of my head, like CV 3, 4,
8.
4, 5, and 6. I can't remember now. I forgot.
Not off the top of your head, then.
It's been that long since I've programmed those. Anyway, the 3 CVs I'm trying to remember is basically low voltage, mid voltage, high voltage, which is basically the 3 points you set. So that's how fast your loco goes at speed 1, how fast your loco goes at 50%, and how fast it goes at full throttle. You know, I can tell you CV63 on the ESU decoders is the volume.
CV8 is factory reset.
Yeah, most decoders resets on CV8 or CV31. Sorry?
Except for QSI.
Yeah, I think QSI...
Reset CVs.
Yeah, QSI you have to reset 3 different CVs. I don't know what it is. I just let the computer do it.
Yeah, they're weird. QSI's weird.
Yeah, that's my solution.
They're special.
What else is in here? We're getting a lot of good stuff in here.
Speed matching locomotives. You're an expert at that, aren't you, Shannon?
A what?
Bill at New Fenris Railroad says speed matching a locomotive. I'm assuming that's something that makes him uncomfortable.
Yeah, speed matching can be uncomfortable. I can see Heath, do you use the 3 speed steps instead of the 20? Okay, Heath, in regards to those 3 CVs, they literally just set the point. So this is point 1, point 2, point 3. And if you look at it on a graph, point 1's down here. You're telling it where point 2 is, and it'll just adjust the voltage across a line. And then point 3, it'll adjust the voltage on a different line. That's all those 3 CVs do. It still works on the 28-step bit system on the decoder. Some decoders are advanced enough where you can actually set those 28 steps individually. But I'm not going to get into what CVs those are, because I'm having trouble trying to remember 5 CVs, let alone 28 CVs. So, but yeah, in saying that, back to speed matching. Best thing to do is find your slowest loco. Like, if you've got a certain amount of locos, or you want to try and speed match them so they're at the same or accurate miles per hour, which can be very hard. Before you get to that point, the simple way is find your slowest locomotive that you'll be constantly double heading with another loco or something, and match all your other locos to that. Again, use JMRI to do that. It makes things so much easier. It makes things so much easier, so much quicker. Like, before I got my USB interface, it used to take me an hour just to, you know, speed match 1 loco. Now I can do 6 locos in an hour quite easily. So, yes, Heath, that's correct. There is a section in most decoders that does let you set the 28 points, but that's quite more advanced. And as I said, unless you can remember all 28 CV numbers to set, JMRI is the way to go, and the USB interface.
How many people think that Shannon should write a book for model railroading? Tips, tools, and techniques.
Hey, I like to study. I like to read things that interest me.
I'm not writing it for you, Shannon.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, Ali over here got a first hand on how my writing skills are, and if anyone wants to understand how she feels, just grab an onion, cut it in half, put it on your eyes.
Oh my goodness. It was just so hard to read.
Chuck had a deal, and I was talking to him in chat. He was trying to do a keychain on the Teespring site The keychains are not on the Teespring site. Teespring is on the other merchandise with our name on it, with the channel name on it. The keychains are in the link that they're not in the link that I put up, but that's where you pay for it. When you do that, you also need to send a email to Steve, or send it to the moderator's page. Is that the right email, Shannon?
Yeah, back on track.
Emails.
Back on track. Yeah, send it to that, and then we'll get it out to you. You put that on all your address and all that stuff on there.
And
the
also,
PayPal link that I put up is strictly to send. That's where you can send your money.
And also, when you send the link for the keychains, make sure you let me know whether you want the steel or the aluminum. Otherwise, you're going to get
I'll probably just reply to those emails and say, "Hey, just want to double check which one." I'll do all the thinking, because I'll just have an email set up ready to go.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Now, I did see something. Steve 87 was talking to Heath about using the PR4 and him having issues. I know sometimes with JMRI, because it is a Java-based software, the computer firewall can block it. So you'll have to look up online how to tell your firewall to ask you if you want to allow the software to function, because when I first used JMRI, I couldn't get to work until I figured out that it was my firewall blocking the software. And once I changed the setting here or there, it's quite easy if you look it up. Just look up Java software allow through firewall or something like that. It's because as I said, it's Java based. Once I sorted that out, it's gone, hey, the software you're trying to use wants permission past the firewall. Do you want to allow access? And I just went, okay. And it worked ever since.
William, or Bill, however you like to have your name pronounced, it's not his handwriting I have an issue with. It's his spelling and grammar I have an issue with.
We have an issue with all of it, so there you go.
Yeah, everyone who's signed up to the trailing boxcar will get to experience that firsthand.
Oh, yes.
Actually, he's got quite neat handwriting. Shannon does have neat handwriting.
Yeah, I have neat handwriting. I just crap at English.
Then how come you can forge signatures so good?
Like you said, good handwriting, bad spelling.
Hey, I was better at drawing than I was at spelling, all right?
Didn't you have some videos for us as well, Shannon?
With the way today's show's going, I don't think I think we're going to run out of time, even with the video.
We can run over.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think people would mind.
What is Shannon's first? Hang on. We're not talking about my language here. Okay. I might have a condition and not know it. I don't know. I could be dyslexic for all I know. I don't know. But we're not going to touch that subject because that is not part of the show. We're here to talk about trains.
Feeling a bit self-conscious with his hair, okay? So leave him alone.
Hang on. Someone made a comment about my hair again?
Well, you're wearing a hat, so I assume you're feeling a bit shy and self-conscious.
No, this is to stop people looking at my hair.
So that begs the question: when are you going to wear a mask? Oh, that went right over his head, didn't it? Okay.
If you want, I will find my mask for next week, and everyone can see what mask I have.
We need a back on track mask.
We put one on there, but I don't know that you want to wear that, do you?
No, I want
there
it.
you go.
I want it as a collective.
Indian Head Valley is Wilmer?
Wilmer.
Yes.
Oh, Wilmer's here. Hey, Wilmer.
Yes, Wilmer. Usually when I start talking, I tend to rant and I forget to... Because the way I like to explain things sometimes is try and explain it to a 3-year-old. But when I get carried away, that kind of thinking just leaves.
It's sometimes hard to get a word in edgewise with you, Shannon.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
See, even
You
Steve
talk so
agreed
much.
with me. Poor Steve's been quiet the whole
That's
show.
okay.
And they're
'Cause you
going
can't
on about
talk
my
'cause-
hair again.
Well, I don't have anything to say. Oh, jeez. No, I'm trying to figure out how to send the link to Chuck for his email, the keychain.
Well, send him the email. I sent him the one where to pay for. I put it in the
I think I just did that, but it's a challenge with this.
Well, the email
iPad.
should be down in the description.
Oh, I've got it. I'm just.
Are all links.
Yeah.
Email, back and track moderators. So send the email there with your address and all that good stuff, and then just send the money.
Actually, Chuck just said he's ordered two of the metal keychains and a coffee mug. So, and there's our email right there with a nice little note. Send us 3 topics. Reminder: send us 3 topics because so far we've got another 4 topics to go that we've been suggested to talk about. They're going pretty quick, so we need more. Or if anyone wants to put their hand up and say, "Hey, can I be on your show?" and you can talk about me and pick on me for the day.
Oh yes, I'm tired of getting picked on.
Yep. Again, send it to that email. Hell, I'll pop out of chat. I'll come off the screen. Jeez, I'll talk enough as it is. Joel's probably
nice.
Yeah, Joel's probably thinking, "Oh, one of my birds has escaped the house again." Hey, did you get my topics?
Actually, isn't this one of your things? The one we're doing now?
I think it was Heath.
I thought it was Heath that nominated this one.
For what?
What makes you uncomfortable?
Oh,
yeah, topic.
This show makes me uncomfortable.
And Steve Anderson sends us 3. He's like, "You want 3 more?"
Sure.
Yeah.
As many as you like.
Yeah, as many as you like. If you want, send us 100.
Put a question up in the chat. He said, "Anyone have preferred base layout tips? Plywood and foam, or just wood?"
Ooh, that's tricky because I know a lot of people do baseboard then foam, or just baseboard. But the way I've done mine is wooden frame, a thin sheet of MDF, which I should have painted, but I didn't. But it doesn't matter; it's too late now. And then foam. So mine is almost wood with foam right on top. My son's layout, on the other hand, it's a wooden frame with a foam insert, and it's got 2 pieces of wood underneath to do the cross beams. That's it. There is nothing else underneath that layout. If you wanted to, you could punch a hole through the foam if you really wanted to mess things up. But
Joel, why are you saying you hate kit bashing? Pretty much all of your stuff is kit bashed.
yeah, I was uncomfortable with kit bashing, and now I can't get enough. I've got so many projects going. I'm like, I've got to finish the other projects first, and I've got to finish Ally's project.
Projects, plural.
No, I consider yours as just one project because it's all the same thing.
He said he has to kit bash everything because he always screws it up.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any? Chat's been moving pretty quickly this morning. Is there anything that we've missed that we haven't spoken about that someone feels uncomfortable about doing? That we can discuss and try and give you an idea on how to be more comfortable and actually give it a shot. And anything that doesn't involve anything on my body.
Please.
I just put the link for the PayPal account for the keychains. So.
Hello.
Better get that. It might be the phone.
And my layout is plywood and cork, or plywood and let's see, no, plywood and cork, or Homosoap. I love Homosoap, and Homosoap's hard to find anymore, and it's kind of messy, but it's a great base for trains. I've used it for years, and it sound deadens very well. And you can lay track right on the Homosoap, or you can put cork on top of that. So I like the Homosoap real well, but I've got a mixture of both. I don't have any foam roadbed on mine or sub roadbed on mine at all.
Yep. Chuck was just saying, Claude, he's intimidated by scenery.
Well, yeah, I was too. Especially the painting part. I wasn't so worried about doing the ground foam and trees and stuff like that, as I was getting the bare rock surfaces or the molded rocks that I made to look right. But I practiced on a couple. First thing I did was I watched some videos on YouTube, because there's tons of stuff on there that'll show you how to do it. And they're all easy steps. You just make washes. You don't use any real heavy paint. I used acrylics because they're cheap. Get you a bunch of colors and make some washes with them with just watered down acrylic, and then put it on the rock and see what it looks like. Sometimes it's better if you put one on and while it's still wet, put the next one on. And sometimes it's better to let the first one dry a little bit more. But there again, you just have to play with it and see what you like. Sometimes you'll put it on there and you'll block some of it off to give you a more subtle look. But it doesn't take long before you do it and you realize, okay, this is the way I want to go, and this is how I did it. And it becomes second nature pretty much. But when I got a place on my layout, and the mountain is pretty much painted now, but I'm going to have some more plaster that I've got to paint. Maybe I'll do an update video on how I do it, but it's pretty simple actually. But the biggest thing is just start, just do it.
Here's a question: who is intimidated by bench work? Me, mostly because I don't have the tools or like a proper shed or anything to do any proper bench work if I were to start a layout. But you look at some of these, even the simple bench work of some of these layouts that you see around, and just because that's the first bit you've got to start with is your bench work, and that intimidates me because it's that whole getting started. So I wonder who else out there gets intimidated by that.
I've got a quick solution for that, which was suggested to me by someone not too long ago, actually. If you've got the money, get a cabinet maker.
That's a good point.
Well, there's even a company that's advertised in Model Railroader for years. I think it's Seavers Benchwork, and I've not ever seen their product in person, but I think you send them your basic bench work of what size you want, and they'll cut all the parts for you. So all you got to do is put them together. Now, I don't know exactly. There again, I've not ever done it, and I've not seen anybody that's done it. But if they've got it all cut up for you and they ship it to you, then all you got to do is put it together. And I would imagine there's several ways you can do that. But it also depends on what kind of layout you want. Do you want a lot of elevation change? Do you want, a flat surface? Basically, you're not going to do much to it. That's pretty simple to do. You make a frame for plywood and put the plywood down, or foam, whatever you're going to do. You just make a frame for it. That's pretty easy. Instead of nailing, use screws to put it together. You can glue the joints if you want, but you don't have to. I've seen most people way overbuild their bench work. Trains aren't very heavy, and unless you're going to put a lot of plaster on,
Like Simon.
you're not even going to have a lot of weight there where you're plastering. I mean, my mountain, it looks like it's got a lot of plaster on it, but there's places I can stick my finger through the plaster. That's how thin it is. So there's not a lot of weight there. there's mainly the basic frame. If you go back and look at some of my updates, one of them I started out with a picture of the Matterhorn at Disneyland when they were building it, and I did it basically the same way. You got the inside structure, and then it's just a shell over the outside. So it just depends on what you want. I know was it Atlas put out a book on how to do some smaller layouts with you take a piece of plywood and they call it cookie cutter, and I've used that technique on my layout some, because that's one of the first ones I did, where they told you how to cut the pieces for a particular layout, and then you basically have a sheet of plywood that you cut slices in, and then you can move the plywood up to make your ramp instead of buying separate stuff to make a ramp. And that's a good way to do it. It's very firm that way, very solid. And those books are still being made, as far as I know.
Wilmer was saying he's intimidated by track work and wiring. In regards to track work, this is something I used to do to help. Is just do the whole, like with any curves of any sort, right? Just do the whole pencil on a string with a nail at the other end, you know. And when you mark it, when you trace your track design on the baseboard, you know, draw it up as you normally do with the center line. But when you go back to each curve to actually put track down, figure out what the inside edge of the track is going to be sitting, and just work and draw another line there and just work off that. If you're putting cork down over the top, you know, same thing, do the outside edge of the cork, you know, and just literally sit the cork so it meets up with that line, and you'll get almost flawless curves. And another thing a lot of people don't know when you actually do put curves on a layout is, if you look at the real railroad, it doesn't go from a straight and then all of a sudden hit a curve. It goes from a straight track and then gradually curves a little bit, and then it hits the curve.
Yeah, it's called an easement.
Yeah, it has a little bit of an easement before it actually hits the curve properly, and a lot of people don't realize that. You know, especially when you're doing, if you just getting set track, you know, you just literally clip the pieces together. You'll notice when you put a straight piece with a curved piece, as soon as the loco or the train hits that curve, instead of it going nicely and smooth around the curve, it literally hits the curve, kind of jolts to whatever direction, and then turns.
Yeah, an easement will make it look a lot more prototypical. It actually makes it look really good.
Yeah, easements as well. Like when I did my layout, what I used to do was get two pieces of flex track, solder them together straight, and then I'd curve them to where I wanted to. And because the flex track was just sitting there naturally, that easement from the straight to the curve was already there. So all my trains, as soon as they come into the curve, you don't see that, you know, the train hitting the curve and having that jolt. It's just a nice gradual turn into the curve. Hey, Lazy Junction's here. We've got a Facebook page.
He's been here for a while, Shannon.
Has he? The first time I've seen his name all day. Ali, I'm almost sold on modules like 2x. Actually, Bernard, if you're going to do modules, look up TOMA layouts on YouTube. Trust me. It kind of follows a similar idea to T-Tracks, but the guy who designed it made it so simple and so easy. I think he has a video where he was setting up for an exhibition, and it took him and his friends maybe half an hour to set the layout up and plug it and play. Like literally, it's just set the legs up, slot the modules together, because the way the legs are designed, it's a channel where the edges slot in. They bump up together. They have a couple of bolts to line it all up perfectly. You know, if he needs to, he gets a mallet, lines them up so the track meets up nice and flush. Plug and play plugs. And yeah, and each module literally weighs nothing. You know, and the way he packs into his car, he's got like a rack, and each module just slides into the rack. Like a set of drawers. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen, and if I have to do a layout again, that's what I'll be doing. So look into it. Let's see.
Well, we're at 64 minutes, Shannon.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
It says 12:59 on my clock.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm just going by what it says. The stream started 64 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You having a mental blank there, Shannon?
No, I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, that's right, William Toma. Toma. Facial. What about a raised radius 2 and those wood or... What about a raised radius tool and those wood or plastic radius tools like 18 inches? I've never used them. Have any of you guys used those radius tools, the ones that sits inside the truck to make the curve?
Yep. I've used the ribbon rail, the metal ribbon rail that are, they're about that long. I've also used the wooden ones from Fast Tracks. Are nice for a big long turn because you can buy them and actually hook them together. And then there's, for like me hand laying my track, I can put them in there. I can pin that down and then lay my rail right against it. So I get that nice even curve on it. Either one of those, if you want the easements off of your straights, you still have to do those manually. But it's not real hard. You just offset your curve, whatever your radius curve is with your straight, you offset it half an inch or so, depending on what scale you're in. The smaller the scale, the less you have to be off of that. And then come off your straight and match it up with your curve, and you'll have your easement. But yeah, I've used them. They work well.
Okay. Anyway, since it is the end of the show, we are going to go overtime, like I guessed, especially because of what happened this morning, which we won't talk about. I might actually delete it off the stream, or I can leave it on there for everyone's entertainment.
I'll leave it on.
Let's see.
It's a good example of what not to do.
Exactly.
Let's see.
Besides, it's fun to go back and look at the replays and watch all our screw ups.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you realize, was I pulling that face the whole show?
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So the topics we have left over is what do you wish existed right now in model railroading that does not? Why do you model in the scale that you model in? What was your most frustrating model railroad moment?
I have a few of those.
Yeah. Using vehicles on model railroads. Pros and cons of track systems. So, you know, systems like Unitrack and Easy Track that Buckman have versus, you know, standard track like Flex Track and Set Track and all that. So, yeah, those are the topics. So, what's that? 4 topics to choose from? Yep, so let us know. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I stand corrected. Joe Rader says they're not screw ups, they're bloopers. I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Bill says leave it, Shannon, because he loves the outtakes.
Okay. So, come on. So, everyone who's still in chat, let us know which topic you want to talk about tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Tomorrow.
It's not tomorrow, it's next week.
Next week. Oh. Leave me alone. It's 1 a.m.
We got to get Shannon moved to the States so he's on the right time zone.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, or 4 sounds good. Thanks, Heath. Thanks, Heath. You're a great help. 3. Okay, so 3.
3.
is...
Yeah, we could do all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's nominated all of them anyway.
Yeah.
Let's do 1 and 2. That'll take up a show, and then we can have 3 and 4.
Yeah, because number 3 is using vehicles on model railroads. And then
What was 1 and 2?
1 and 2 was, what do you wish existed right now that doesn't? And what was your most frustrating model railroad moment?
Yeah, that'll
I think
fill a
2 is a
show.
good one. 2 is a very good one.
I'm
sure there's lots out there.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a vote from my colleagues here. Is everyone happy with option number 2? What's the most frustrating model railroad moment? Yes, no,
Maybe
going
so.
once, going twice,
So
2.5, 2 3/4.
Joe said it was an Australian time warp.
Okay, I guess we're going. We got 3 against 1. So, okay, it's topic number 2. So next week we'll be talking about your most frustrating model railroading moment, which
Sounds good.
one mine happened this morning.
yes.
And then one happened last week, and then another one happened, I think, 2 weeks before that.
Are they your most frustrating topic?
Well, when you have 2 kids, like when you have a 6-year-old who's autistic and a toddler, they tend to stretch your mind a little thin. I used to have a fuse like this, and now I've got a itty bitty fuse.
What I'm saying is, they are frustrating, those things. But which one of those is the number one frustrating thing?
Steve Anderson says it's getting our show started.
Watching it get started. Yeah.
Watching it get started.
All right, we'll talk about that next week. Thanks again, guys. I guess you 3 had a lot of fun. I'm still annoyed, frustrated.
I thought it was good.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I will talk to Claude after we log out, so I can try and add in the description how to actually buy the keychains, so we can avoid confusion, because I'm still confused. So I'll do that. But otherwise, yeah, send us your emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Ding, 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 ding.
Boom.
Hello.
And I think that's all for now. Peace.
Later, guys.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Thank you.